Welcome to another devlog for Ace Racers SP, where myself and the chicken will tell you about the latest features in my game. So, as you can see right away, the first feature that should stand out is the new menu music. So just to let that play for a little while, we will go and we will see some other changes in the instructions page. So here we have a basic rundown of what the player should try to achieve overall with the game, where to go to learn about the controls and functions, controls descriptions below to learn in more detail. In the pause menu, set the power of your ship, and also new to this latest post is set a custom rate profile. For example, classic reduced yaw. As always, the save system has not changed, but I now have some new credits here in the audio. The menu music composed exclusively. Use the rate profiles. You can cycle through profile 1, profile 2 in default, and then you set up each profile in the vehicle power menu. And here we have the latest updated picture to the ship's display. Here's the forward only vehicle, the forward warper, and the loader and the warp loader. And now I didn't catch that in time. Profile 1 and profile 2. And you can see it automatically loaded my test adjustment here in the reverse right above my head. The way that it works is you set the torque, which will be the maximum power for the torque, and then there's very easy low, low, high, very high. These are all independent from these two profiles down here. And then the thrust is your acceleration in a direction, and the torque is your acceleration and rotation axis. And these are the defaults. And then what you can do is, for these rate reduction profiles, max is 1, and this is a multiplier between 0 and 1. So if you want 10% of the roll power, and I guess you're down here, you want 50% of the roll power. If you want max roll, max pitch, and less yaw, which is probably the most common configuration in most of the space games, so that you kind of really get a lot of your single stick, then you can set that up right there, and you can reduce the reverse thrust. Then you pop into the game, and it's a little hard to see here. Maybe I'll go to one where there's objects close by. So now you can see that my default rate profile is enabled. So what I want to do first is switch to rate profile 1, and then if I go forward, I'll just tap it really quick, see how much quickly, and then if I start to reverse, see, it takes me a little longer to slow down. And that's because if I go to my rate profile, my reverse thrust is reduced. Likewise, if I want to pitch, pitching. But if I want to yaw, that's my max yaw right there. We have slightly slower. And if I want to set up 2 rate profiles and switch between them and then switch back to default, well, I just have a button that cycles through that. And man, I wish I'd have noticed this. Rate profile 1 and rate profile 1 over here. But I always like to make these videos to find out where I didn't remember to do something or didn't notice. So also added, basically, since the last particular update, if I go to space mode, and you can see I'm now flying the warship, and I pop up in this placeable objects menu. Right down at the bottom are the most recent additions to the placeable objects. So I think it was in my last post that I put these triangles in here, and I may have put these in the last post as well. But this big wall panel is new, and this Magellan model is new here. So this is an inflatable section. Here's the inflatable pack. You can place that pack. And here's what some suggestions of like what you might place out. So there's the whole rocket. Here's the whole rocket all put together. And you might inflate, of course, like this. But using these pieces, you could actually put down an empty rocket. So there's the empty rocket. And then I can select this inflatable seat piece right here. And it's not really lined up how I'd want to line it up, but pretty good. This would be a time when you could use a different velocity, where you move more slowly, such that the very easy and then switch back to normal. So I'll put that down, recenter my camera. And now you can see I have this inflatable piece coming up here. I can hook a hook to it, and then I can make a course that looks like it was actually launched. So this Magellan real quick. The Magellan looks like this. 3D model from the asset store. It was free, so I added it. And then this wall section is quite big. So you can see that it's quite large. You can use that to make a significant barrier, so that if you wanted to have some hoops and you wanted to have a barrier, you can fly around. This wall section is very large, so I may make some more of these wall sections. You could use it to make, multiple panels and things, providing for a nice obstacle. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll make some smaller ones, some different shapes. I put some triangles in some of the other vehicles as well. And really that summarizes all of the changes made for this update. The Rockhopper does not have great profiles. I don't perceive that it's really something that is going to work the same for the Rockhopper. I mean, if you look at the object, it doesn't make sense physics-wise to have all these different velocity limits directed. I think as a standard gameplay tool, people don't have the same expectations or tradition of a lunar lander style vehicle. It might be harder to adopt. I think that for most of the lunar lander style games, its role now would be more appropriately based on the profile of the rocket. So I didn't include profiles. This vehicle, if you look at the loader, it has the same as the space vehicle. If you look at the space vehicle small, I did not include that in this vehicle. And again, they're available in the main space drone, but this is a smaller drone that is kind of intended to be on the interior of the International Space Station. And I kind of wanted it to be like, well, this will be a different project for the vehicle altogether. And ultimately, this one will kind of maybe be more accurate to a specific symbol. No options available vehicle. Kind of more like a spec style environment where the player doesn't really get to pick things. So, I mean, ultimately, I would have like if I was going to have like a lead or something like that, then the space vehicle's power settings, you wouldn't be able to choose those for that in this case. Whereas the other drone would be something that is more like, well, whoever wants to simulate whatever vehicle they want to simulate, they could set it up to do that here. And then there's a lot more objects that can be placed in this vehicle as well. Whereas in the space vehicle small, you know, there isn't quite so many objects, mostly because there isn't so many objects that would make sense inside of the space station. So you just have enough options to get the basic gameplay here for now. Finally, in the forward-only vehicle, it does have these settings, but as you can see, Profile 1 and Profile 1, they only have rotation. But that makes sense because the forward-only vehicle only goes forward. The controls to go up, down, left, and right, and reverse do nothing for you. There's only roll, yaw, tilt, and forward. You might notice that these rates appear to be quite a bit slower than the regular space vehicle. Oh, my controller disconnected. But actually what's going on there is just that the vehicle is actually longer. So let me see if I can switch to a different camera. And you can see that in this vehicle, the thrusters are arranged on two arrays that are out from the cylinder, which is also larger than the other space vehicle. So because this vehicle is so much longer, the physics engine just naturally calculates it out to behave along those axes quite a bit slower. And in this vehicle, the roll is quite a bit more ornate, which I did not set. This is just one power setting. The torque setting is the same on all three axes. It's just that pitch and yaw are much slower because it's a long vehicle. Whereas this thin, flat plane and the profile of the roll axis related to mostly centered here. I'm not really sure how Unity calculates out the roll axis. I don't know if this, one thing I don't know is because this object is thin, does Unity think that it's lighter than these thicker objects? It feels like it might, but I can't tell for sure. Another place where this matters is in the loader. If you look at the loader, I have this tall neck with this, let me get out of the way of this. I have this tall neck, and I'm just not sure how much that affects the center of balance because it's so thin and it's such a small object. But as you can see, the loader is kind of flat and wide, so this roll axis is very slow, and I feel like these other axes, the pitch and yaw, and I think that could just be, well, I mean, I know that it's but what I don't know is how much that skinny neck impacts the total mass distribution of the vehicle. If Unity thinks that this doesn't weigh very much automatically, and you can change that, or I don't know that stuff. Actually, while I'm in here, I did also add, I added some triangles and some big squares. I added some new objects to be docked with. This one is like an I-beam. Twice the weight of the rockets, and it's a little bit longer as well. So I place my rockets where it's really easy to so these rockets, they can feel pretty long and take quite a bit out of your rotation performance. But this is going to be 200 instead of 100 Unity mass units.